Greetings and salutations from clearly not Costa Rica. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to be live with you again. Chef Meg here. This time coming to you live from my mother's kitchen in my mother's home. Maybe we can say hello. There's Mom. Hi, Mom. Say hi to Rythmia viewers. So, a little bit of a location mix-up. Excuse me while I just get set up here for everybody. As we welcome people to the live broadcast, I'm just going to give you guys a little update on what's going on in my life and what brings me here to Canada. Hope you guys are hearing me okay. If someone can write in the comments at this, like right now, if you're hearing me okay, if you're seeing me okay. I did a few checks with the connectivity and everything seemed fine. So I'm going to pull up the live here on my laptop and just make sure that everything's going well. How's everybody doing? It's Sunday fun day all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are in the country or on this great planet. But I see Linda Shelley has, oh no, that's not for the Facebook Live. Ha ha ha. If someone that's watching, Paul De Bruin is watching. Paul De Bruin, can you tell me whether the audio is okay? And let me know. Heidi. Hi Heidi Larson, happy Sunday. Oh Heidi, I miss you. You miss my food, I miss you and your beautiful energy and all your wonderful white clothes that you sported every day at Rythmia. Okay, so we got lots of people tapping on here. Beautiful. This is great. So, like I said, live from Canada. Ooh, and it's bloody cold here, let me tell you. I was complaining about the wind in Costa Rica the last couple of weeks, but nothing compared to the minus 13 degrees that I'm dealing with currently here in Canada. But I'm super happy to be here, and the reason that I'm here, donning my mother's apron and working in my mother's kitchen, is we had a bit of a health scare this week. I think my mom would be fine with me sharing this information, but I flew home very last minute on Thursday to be with my mother as she came out of a very surprising heart surgery. My mother was, you know, not your typical heart patient at all. She's a super healthy woman, eats really well, keeps active. She's, you know, she's a woman of her older years. I'm not going to say how old, but she's always been a picture of health. And I just want to share this as information for people out there that the only symptom my mother has had in the last month that, you know, precluded her to having any sort of issue with her heart was just shortness of breath. And decided after a couple of bouts of shortness of breath to go see the doctor. And almost immediately after having an ECG and having some examinations, it was decided that she needed a pacemaker stat. So that was Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday she went to see her family doctor. By Thursday she was in having a pacemaker inserted to help keep the electrical systems of her heart functioning, which is pretty epic and huge and came as a huge shock to us all. But I managed to fly home here to be with her when she came out of the surgery, and we could bring her home, and I've been here with her ever since, and I'm going to be here till earlier in the week, just making sure that she's taking care and that she's pacing herself, because she, like me, is very high energy and likes to do sometimes too much for others and keeps almost too busy sometimes. So this has been a lesson, I'm sure, to help her enjoy life and maybe the pura vida, you know, instill some more pura vida into her world. So that's my update. That's why I'm coming to you from this very different kitchen this afternoon, and I'm super excited that you guys are here. Let's see who we got here. We've got Craig Malone saying, happy Monday morning from Adelaide, Australia. Oh yeah, so I totally was wrong. That's not true. It's not Sunday afternoon everywhere in the world. So thank you for that correction, Craig. Jennifer Smith says, love the apron. Thank you. My mother has quite a variety of aprons that I had to choose from today. And Heidi License says she misses me right back. So this is super great, guys. I have my laptop in front of me, so I'm going to be able to stay up to... Oh, yeah, so oh my gosh, feedback. There we go. I'm going to be able to stay up to date. Leroy Marks is watching. We've got Tarunima Kapoor. Oh, I hope she gets well soon. I hope my mom gets well soon too, but she's doing incredible already. Like leaps and bounds. She's such a trooper. We have a family of very strong women, and she's going to be back to her normal self in no time. Let's just go through here real quick. What else do we have here? Jennifer Smith says the audio's okay. Awesome. Alfonso says, hi Meg. I said, hello Alfonso, nice to see you. I've got Gina Gormley watching, saying audio's great. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So, I digress. What are we really here to talk about? We're here to talk about food. As I think if anyone here watched last week, we did not talk, well, we talked about food, but we didn't do any food. So I'm going to tell you right now that we are going to be actually preparing a few dishes today, and as you might have guessed from the title of this week's live, we're going to be talking about sandwiches. I don't know about you, but I grew up on sandwiches. I loved peanut butter and banana sandwiches. It was my favorite. What else was my favorite, Mom, growing up? When I did like sandwiches, because there was a while that I didn't like sandwiches.
Meat and cheese sandwiches.
Meat and cheese, like turkey and cheddar with lettuce and mayonnaise. That was one of my faves. I actually just made that sandwich for my mom for lunch today.
Bacon and tomato sandwiches in season.
Bacon and tomatoes. Did I like bacon and tomato?
You like bacon and
Apparently I liked bacon and tomato sandwiches growing up. Who knew? I just posted on my Instagram feed last night a little anecdote about me growing up as well, that as I was in the grocery store last night, I bought a bag of, dun, 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 again with the sound effects. I don't know why I'm doing all these sound effects these days. But I bought a bag of one of my favorite things in the world, Brussels sprouts. So people love them or they hate them, but I'll tell you, I love them. And I was sharing with the woman at the grocery store, and then so I shared the story on Instagram last night as well, that when I was growing up, my mom was enjoying, one evening she was enjoying Brussels sprouts, just steamed Brussels sprouts, and she thought for some entertainment she would toss a couple onto my high chair tray when I was a toddler to see, expecting some sort of repulsed reaction that would, be entertaining for her. But no, I picked up the Brussels sprouts and gobbled them down and was immediately reaching out for more. So from a very young age, I've been a little bit of a weird one when it came to my food tastes. And Brussels sprouts have remained one of my favorite things. So last night, Mom and I had some steamed Brussels sprouts for dinner. And look at, isn't this, I love that you guys are here in my hometown with all like family photos on the fridge. I'm a real person and I live a real life, and this is where I came from. I'm in a small town in southwestern Ontario, about 2 hours outside of Toronto, and this is my home, and this is when I come home to visit Mom. This is where we cook. So let's see what else is going on here real quick. Marina loves Brussels sprouts, amazing. Morgan says Sammy's, yes, Sammy's. Like, oh, look at all you people loving this. This is great. This is awesome. I'm so happy you guys are all here. Maybe at some point I'll get my mom over here to say hi. Maybe not. She's resting. So we're talking about sandwiches, so let's get back on the topic. So today I'm going to do a few different alternatives to your traditional sandwich. I'm going to start with one that is going to be bread-based. I know I've talked here and there about gluten and whether you're gluten intolerant or gluten-free or not. There's so many options, so there's going to be some different options today. And I don't really know where I'm looking here. I'm sorry if I look like I'm looking off into space. I'm using my mom's iPad for the first time ever to do my Facebook Live. And I also want to show you a couple things, because as I'm here in my mom's kitchen, I've decided there's potential for other Facebook Lives from some inspiration from her kitchen. So Mom was telling me the other day she hasn't bought crackers in a long time. So, she's typically got a whole stock because she entertains a lot, so she's got crackers and cheese and all of that. So what she's done is she's been buying just like bread, like day-old bread from the grocery store. From the bakery section of your grocery store, quite often they have breads on deep discounts. So what my mom's been doing is buying that discount bread and then just really slicing it super thin and toasting it off. And then listen, she's got this amazing crispy cracker that's just made out of regular bread with nothing added. And what you could do, you could rub a little olive oil on here and some garlic salt and make them like garlic crackers or any of your favorite herbs, a chili oil or something like that, and then toast them off, and then you have these beautiful flavored crackers. Just using regular old bread. And the other thing, what really got me inspired about thinking to maybe do something like this for another Facebook Live, is she makes these homemade crackers. I'm not going to say the name brand that you can buy. It's an artisanal cracker, and if you look at this, we're not going to say the name brand.
No, twice baked fruit and nut crackers.
Okay, so Mom tells me that these are what they're called. The recipe that she uses, twice baked fruit and nut crackers. And I know the process behind these, and it's a bit of a process, but they're super delicious. And it looks like she's got here sunflower seeds, currants, maybe some raisins. And the process in making these delicious crackers, which are so good with cheeses and different condiments, is you form it into a dough and you bake it as like a mini loaf, and then after it's baked, then you slice it into the slices, kind of like biscotti, like the process for making biscotti. So I'm thinking maybe we can do that, something about homemade cracker alternatives in another Facebook Live. Give me a thumbs up if that sounds good to you. Over here on the feed. Fiona says, Meg, I missed you, and you're amazing. Fiona, I missed you too. I'm so happy we're Facebook friends now. We just became Facebook friends last night, so it's so nice to hear from you, Fiona. I've got Laura Romero saying hello from Colorado. I've got, forgive me if I say this wrong, Suroraj Sen saying cool apron. Mom, people are digging up on your apron. I might have to bring this one home with me. Marina McKenzie says, what town? The home of the white squirrel, if you can figure that out. Then you'll know what town I live in. Marina McKenzie says she loves them. Okay, perfect. So, back to the topic. This is why my Facebook Lives are getting to be so long these days, because I figured out that I can be interactive while I'm doing it. All right, so let's get to our first recipe, shall we? And the first recipe is going to be, I'm just going to show you. I'm sure you've seen this on all of the internets and all over the place and in the magazines. But it is a avocado toast on sweet potato. Now in Costa Rica, I think I've talked about the fact that I don't have the readily accessible orange sweet potatoes like this. So I'm super stoked. Whenever I come home to Canada, I think I eat it every single day. I think we've had sweet potato every day since I got here. Roasted, boiled, mashed, made into toast, you name it. So I'm going to show you the process for this. It's really simple. And on here right now, all I've got is avocado, sriracha, and some chili pepper and salt and sea salt. And that's super awesome, delicious dinner or lunch. If you're into food combining, this is a great starch meal because you've got your starchy sweet potato and your avocado, which is technically a starch. And if you want, maybe I'll do a Facebook Live about food combining because that's something I like to talk about. We're going to be talking about Ayurveda a little bit when I talk about khichdi in the next coming weeks, but maybe I'll do a whole talk on food combining because that's a type of, it's not a diet, it's not a change in what you can and cannot eat by any stretch of the imagination. It goes really well along with the Intuitarian lifestyle, but it's just a way of combining the foods, all the foods that you want, but just eating them in certain order and certain groupings to optimize digestion. So maybe we'll talk a bit about that in another Facebook Live. Marina says, great idea, girl. Heidi says, yes, sweet potato is my absolute favorite. So happy you're showing this one. Yum. Ha ha ha. So I made a good decision. So all I've done is I grabbed a whole sweet potato and I've sliced it into about 1/4 inch thick slices. So this is a raw piece. I haven't done anything else with this at all. Some of you might have a bit of a hate on for me with the next step that I'm going to do, and I'm sure that there's an easier way. Well, there is an easier way, and we're going to get to it. But we're going to take this thin sliced sweet potato, and all I did was scrub the outside. I kept the skin on the outside, kind of like the crust of the bread. And I'm going to take a fork, and I just pierce it on each side, just giving it a little bit of a pierce. And this is like if you're baking a sweet potato or baking a potato, it's just going to help the steam escape and help it cook a little bit quicker. So what I did here at my mom's is I took this and I put it in the microwave. I know I'm going to get some hate messages. Microwaves are bad, but sometimes it's all about convenience. And I had a microwave, and let's be honest, I had about 20 minutes to get ready for this live because I was shopping and lost track of time. And all of a sudden I got home, Mom's like, you got to be live. I'm like, I know. So I used the microwave. But what you could do is steam the sweet potato. Look at this. I've got like a whole kitchen for my live here. I'm not just stuck behind a bar in Costa Rica. Not stuck. I love it there. I love my kitchen in Costa Rica. But what I was going to say is you could steam it. So you could just take a pot and put a couple of inches of water in. This is a little steamer basket you can buy anywhere for next to nothing. And you could pierce your sweet potato and just toss it in your pot and steam it. All we want to do is par cook it a little bit. Because the next step is to take your toast, your sweet potato, and you're going to toast it. So all you're going to do is you're going to put it in your toaster. I like to put it on the highest setting. And for me, when I did it here today, it took me, I don't know, what would we call when you turn the toaster on, rounds. It took me 3 rounds to get it to the toast that I wanted, to get a nice little, as you can see here if I show you, like a brown, a nice toast on it. The texture is nice. It's cooked right through. It's got a little bit of a crunch on the outside. So that's the process. And I'm going to show you a little tip here. This is a Terry Pearson trick. I've brought up my mom a million times and my sister in these lives because you guys still use a lot of these tips that they do. But my mom's got her toaster and she keeps it in the cupboard at all times inside a cake pan. And this is how she keeps the crumbs from making a big mess. Isn't that genius? So we take it out from the cupboard just like this, and when we put it back in the cupboard, we just leave it in the cake pan, and then once the pan itself gets full of crumbs, then we just get rid of the crumbs and clean out the toaster, and then bada boom, bada bing, you're not dealing with crumbs everywhere. Isn't that smart? You could leave it on the counter, just get even if you want to get a nice glass one, if you're one of those people that doesn't that keeps all your appliances out on the counter, just buy a really nice glass tray and keep your toaster in there, right? Super smart. I'm all about the tips and tricks. So Heidi Larson says, do you leave the skin on or no? Yes, I do leave the skin on because I like to leave the skin on anything, especially when it's organic, because a lot of nutrition is right underneath the skin in fruits and vegetables. So I left the skin on, but you could peel it off if you want. If you peel it off, the sweet potato might fall apart, depending on your sweet potato and the moisture content. If you don't have the skin on the outside acting as the crust holding the shape, your sweet potato might crumble, especially when you go to start putting the toppings on it. Jennifer says, aren't sweet potatoes awesome? A perfect food. Amen, just like pizza. Pizza and sweet potatoes, two of my favorite perfect foods. Okay, so this is the tip. So all I would do is you take your pierced, parboiled, or microwave sweet potato, throw it in your toaster, you know, press it down, flip it. I flipped it each time, and I put it through the full toast 3 times, and then that's your toast. That's all you need to know, kids. And then you top it however you want to top it. So I did this savory one with avocado and sriracha. You could do it with peanut butter and banana. You know, anything you want. Just this is your vessel, sweet or savory. Something that I didn't bring out examples of, but I talked to my mom about just last night, is using cabbage leaves as a vessel for sandwich ingredients. At Rythmia, I do a taco lunch buffet twice in 2 weeks. So I do the sun-dried tomato taco filling, and we use just red cabbage leaves as the cup for the taco. So they act as tortillas. But sometimes when I'm feeling like I don't want to have something really starchy in the morning, what I'll often do is take like a nice thin leaf of cabbage, green or red, and I'll just slather that with peanut butter and a whole banana and maybe some cinnamon, and then I'll just eat that like a wrap. And that's a really great grab and go, getting an extra vegetable in, which is really good for you. So that's always an option as well. I don't think I need to demonstrate that. I think you get the drift. Let's see here. Any other questions at this point? Nothing. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on, kids. Yes, we're moving on. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is there's nothing really special about this recipe other than it's really quite delicious and simple. And I used to buy a version of this sandwich at one of the supermarkets in downtown Toronto when I was living there and working in the television industry, and sometimes didn't have the time or the wherewithal to cook much. So I used to pick up this sandwich for lunch every once in a while. So today what I'm going to do it on is just I think this was a quinoa flax bread that I picked up at the grocery store. You could use any of your gluten-free breads, Ezekiel, whatever you want to do. But the real beauty of this is just the really simple ingredients. So you can see here I've just got a little mise en place. I'm not going to bend it too much. So this is carrot, hummus, toasted sunflower seeds, and spinach. And it's really, really simple. It's a really simple idea, but it's really quite tasty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this grated carrot, I'm going to plop it into my mixing bowl. Sorry about the angle here, guys. I'm going to hold everything up so you can see what's going on. Then this is just a hummus. I think I may have done a hummus recipe on a past Facebook Live. I've done so many now, I don't even remember what recipes I'm doing. But maybe I can do a link to a hummus recipe in the comments. And then a couple tablespoons of toasted sunflower seeds. Toss those in. And then we need a little bit of sea salt. A little bit of black pepper. Sound effects again, guys. Don't know what I do all these sound effects for, Mom. It's ridiculous. Every one of these lives, I'm doing more and more silly sound effects. And then we just mix it up. And what are we at here? What are we at? 3:19, guys. What have I been keeping this to? About 36 minutes, I think, is my average. So let's see if we can keep it to that. So here, I've just mixed up the hummus with the carrot and the sunflower seeds. Did I just see Kenneth? Hey, Kenneth, my Kenneth is on board. Hola, Meg. I miss you too, he says, te extraño, which means he misses me. I miss you too, Kenneth. Why aren't you helping me out? I'm trying to keep track of the comments and do the thing, and I need your help, dude. I should have flown you to Canada with me. Okay. So I'm placing all of that delicious hummusy carrot, black pepper, and you need to be liberal with the black pepper. That's the secret with this recipe. Lots of black pepper. Place it on the bread. I'm going to put, look at this. See, nice and thick. Look at that. Look at that. Hummusy, carroty goodness. This is really good quality doing this on the iPad, actually. I don't know what you guys think at home, but this is pretty sweet. I might have to buy myself an iPad. Then I'm just going to put some spinach on top. And you could just enjoy that as an open-faced sandwich, but it is a nice complete meal. You've got some great carbs. You've got great plant-based protein from the hummus. Really satisfying. The carrot's going to be really great for energy. The sunflower seeds as well, and a bit of greens. I would also put maybe some sprouts would be really good on the sandwich, and I'm just going to leave it open-faced. So this is a really good recipe to try at home, and it's super friendly on the pocketbook, super cheap, and I'm sure kid friendly, right? I think kids would like that, minus the green. So that's my favorite little recipe for a quick lunch, and I think I have the recipe for that on my blog, but I'm going to share it here as well in the comments. The next thing we're going to do is a substitution for no breads, no carbs at all. I like the iPad 2, Meg, says Deborah. Okay, thanks, Deborah. We're doing some we're getting some techno input here. Kenneth says, que rico. Leroy Mark says, I like the sound effects. Thanks, Leroy. Leroy was just a guest that left Rythmia about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Leroy, miss you a lot, my friend. Okay, so moving on. Recipe number, what are we on? Third recipe number 3 already. So we're going to use this here cucumber as our vessel, our vehicle for sandwiches. So I've just got a little piece of an English cucumber here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice it down the middle. That's not the middle. Close enough. Good enough for TV, as we used to say in TV. And I'm going to take this, you can see it's quite seedy in the middle, so we want to get rid of that. We want to get rid of the seeds. So I'm going to take my spoon here, the end of my spoon, and I'm going to run it down here and just scoop out the seeds. Got some people laughing at my ridiculousness. Thank you for the emoticons, my friends. The internet is working better than it does in Costa Rica too. Right, Jason? I mean, there's nothing to be said about that. The internet in Costa Rica is dodgy at best on a good day. And Deborah says, I agree. Yeah, great sound and picture. I love that everyone's giving me information and info and updates on the technology. Yeah, I know, maybe I should just hang out in Canada and bank a whole bunch of lives while I'm up here. Right, perfect. Okay, so we've cleaned out, sorry, that's really messy, but you probably can't really tell because the internet's probably making the video not very good. But what I've gone and done is just got rid of the seeds. And then what I've got here is chèvre, goat's cheese, and I'm just going to spread that into the middle. It's kind of like, at this point, ants on a log. I don't know if you guys ever ate ants on a log growing up, but that was another, I'm here at my mom's, I'm going back to the childhood days. But when I was a kid, I used to love ants on a log, and if you don't know what that is, look it up on Pinterest. Just kidding, I'll tell you. Ants on a log is slices of slices of celery, because you know celery has that ridge down the middle, so it's kind of like a little boat. And growing up, I used to like it with Cheese Whiz, like just a big spread of Cheese Whiz down in the middle of that boat, and raisins on top. But also one really yummy way to do it is to put peanut butter and raisins and a drizzle of honey. But it's called ants on a log, and that was one of my favorite things growing up. And I feel like I might have that for a snack later, now that we're talking about it. Jason says, yep, I ate ants on a log too. There we go. Barbara Wolf just joined. Hey Barbara, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And perfect, moving on. Yes, childhood memories, says Harmony Love Kurtz. Isn't it lovely walking down memory lane? I've been doing that so much here. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I'm at MAP Wellness, M-A-P Wellness, and I've been here at my mom's and just enjoying, like, seeing old pictures of me when I was younger, enjoying, you know, just the walk down memory lane. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come on that regard.
And sleeping well.
And I've been sleeping so well, as I always do. Mom just mentioned that. I always sleep like a log here. I've been going to bed at 9:30, like having a cup of tea and like comatosing on the sofa, going to bed at 9:30 and then waking up at 8:30. And then this morning I woke up, I was like, and then I made it as far as my mom's bedroom and into her bed beside her, where we proceeded to lie for a half an hour before either of us got the energy to actually get out of bed and start our day. But isn't that what Sunday Fun Days are all about? I think so. Jennifer says, it's way too cold and it's much prettier in Costa Rica. A to the men. There's a reason why I moved there this time of year and I do not get along. And Heidi Larson says, yes, my daughter loves the peanut butter with raisins. Never thought of adding honey. Honey and a little bit of cinnamon and cacao nibs crumbled on top. Heidi, try that. Your daughter will love it. Okay, so back to my cucumber log. So I've got my cucumber with chèvre here. And then all I'm going to do is grab this little beautiful tomato. And I'm just going to make a couple of slices. I'm actually really happy you guys can't see my counter today because I kind of made a mess of it. Oh, what a lovely tomato this is. Color. You can just imagine back home the sweetness of that. And I'm just going to put my tomato on my chèvre and a little bit of sea salt, black pepper. And you could, again, top this any way you want. And you could just eat this just like that. A bada boom, bada bing. Or you could take the seeds out of your top half, add more cheese, and top it, so then you've got like a proper sandwich. And as I'm doing this, I want to give you the example of I've seen it, I've never tried it, but I've seen it on the internet, where people take an avocado and peel it and do the same thing and have it cut in half. And where the seed is, they fill it with something and then they put the 2 avocado halves back together. I can't imagine that you can eat that like a sandwich. It would probably just slip out of your hands and make a big mess. But that would be a neat little presentation with the avocado bun per se, and then, you know, put like a vegan patty inside or something. But you'd have to eat it with a knife and a fork. But maybe that's something I'll do for fun and put it on the Instagram feed. Carolyn, hi Carolyn, so nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. I have one more recipe to do, and I'm not going to be able to complete it because it is multiple steps, but it is a cauliflower toast. So I've already gone and started the process for this. So I'm just going to tidy up ever so slightly here because we are at 3:26, so I have less than 10 minutes to keep it under the window of time that I try to keep it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to walk back here. And I showed you earlier in the video my steamer setup. And I think I've talked to you about the Bagno Maria, and this is kind of the same idea. So we just got a couple of inches of water down here, steamer basket. So what I've done is I've steamed a head of cauliflower just for a couple of minutes. So it's still pretty crunchy and hard, but I just wanted to steam it a little bit to get to de-rawify it and get rid of the raw flavor. And what I'm going to do here is take this super clean tea towel that's fresh from the laundry. Or you could use cheesecloth or whatever you want to do. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take this cauliflower, I'm going to place it in the middle of the tea towel. And then I'm going to wrap this tea towel around the cauliflower. I'm going to walk over to the sink and I'm just going to wring it out. I just want to get rid of any excess water that might be still in this cauliflower. So I'm over at the sink, and you guys can still see me. I don't know if you can still hear me, but I'm just squeezing out. Your cauliflower might not release much water like drip wise, but your tea towel should be a little bit damp. So I'm just squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Awesome. So that part is done. Yeah, it's pretty dry. So the next step of the process here is to bring it over to the food processor and pulse it. So if you've done a recipe for cauliflower rice, same idea. We're not using, typically for the cauliflower rice you start from raw cauliflower, but we're going to use slightly steamed here. Jennifer Smith says you could tote those on a plane trip too. Are you talking? Yeah, these guys, totally. Wrap them up real tight and they would be great on the plane trip. And someone here has guessed that my hometown is Exeter.
Somebody local.
It was Marina McKenzie. And Barbara Wolf says, you look so domestic in this setting. I am domestic. What do you mean, look so domestic? With my tats and piercings make me not domestic? Heidi Larson says, only 2 minutes to steam the sweet potato and the cauliflower. The sweet potato I did in the microwave, as I mentioned, and I did it 1.5 minutes on one side, and then I flipped it and did another 1.5 minutes. It's going to depend on your microwave and the wattage. As far as the steaming goes, yeah, I want it so that it's cooked enough that, you know, toasting is really just going to give the texture on the outside. So you want it to be fairly al dente. So I would say probably if you put your sweet potato in the steamer basket, you bring it up to a rolling boil, 2 minutes tops would be totally fine because you're going to have it sliced so thinly. Deborah's saying hello to Jeremy. I think Jeremy was making comments earlier. And back to the cauliflower. So I'm heading over here now. Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. I'm having way too much fun these days here at Mom's. I'm just cracking myself up. So I've got my Mom's food processor over here. Sorry, I don't have an outlet on the island, so I'm doing that over here. And I'm just going to drop about 1/4 of this in here. I'm just going to pulse it. I'll come over and show you guys the texture that I got it to. Dump it in a bowl. Holy smokes, I'm making some racket. So this is, let me see, we got some serious light reflection. There we go. So it's like cauliflower rice texture. Melissa says, hello, happy Sunday from Palm Springs. Deborah says, great sound. I'm going to answer this phone and tell them that we're going to have to call them back. One moment, please. Hello, Jen Keller. I'm good. I'm actually live on Facebook for my job with Rythmia right now. Can we call you back in about 10 minutes? That would be just fine. Oh, okay, bye. All right, guys.
That's your cousin.
That's my cousin calling. call, and she's going to come over for a visit in 20 minutes. So, this is just another look into real life here in Exeter, Ontario, Canada. So we're back to making our cauliflower. So I would go through and do that with the remainder of my parboiled steamed cauliflower. And then it's really simple. The ingredients are, for a whole head of cauliflower, give or take, it's 2 eggs. So I've got 2 eggs here. I'm going to dump in about half of this. And this is our binding agent. So obviously this is not a vegan recipe, but I wanted to give options for everybody. I'm going to put in a little bit of sea salt. Now we know you're live, says Jennifer. Yeah, because the phone's ringing. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I could have taken the phone off the hook, but everyone's calling to find out how my mom's doing, so we don't want to... What's that? And my mother's obviously not going to be getting up and running to the phone. She's pretty stationary these days. Harmony says, thank you, Chef Meg. And Jennifer says, oh, great, you can hear me perfectly anywhere from my kitchen. Sounds great. And then Deborah also says, great, it sounds good no matter what. Good microphone on this piece of technology that we're using then. Okay, back to my recipe. We got cauliflower, we've got 1 egg, a bit of salt and pepper. What I've got here, so this is clearly 100% not a plant-free vegan recipe. Not that I care, because as you all know, I'm an Intuitarian these days. This is about a 1/4 cup of grated goat's milk mozzarella, which is like my new favorite thing. So we're going to put that in, and that's not only going to give us flavor, but it's going to help bind the final product. And then a mixture of your favorite spices and herbs. Today I did a combination of these beautiful, you can't really see. I've got cumin, chili powder, and a tiny bit of sage. I'm just going to dump that in. Super yum. And I'm going to give that a good mix up. And then the next step, and this is going to be the final step that I'm going to be able to show you guys today, because my bad, I didn't prep and have finished product for you in advance, but maybe what I'll do is I'll do the rest of the process and I'll post pictures in the comments, and then you can see what it's going to look like. But the next step of this process here is we're going to take, I don't have rubber gloves here, so pardon me, but I have here a baking tray with a non-stick sheet. My mom has these silicone sheets. Okay, and I'm just going to form this mixture that I've just created. Sorry, the sun's reflecting through the window. There we go. I'm going to form this into like a toast shape. What? Cauliflower toast. So this is like a nice base to make a grilled cheese. Because the idea here is, so I've got a little ball of it. I'm placing it on my sheet. And we're just going to, and what we're going to end up doing is we're going to bake this off. And then the egg and the cheese are going to be the binding agent that's going to hold all of these ingredients together to form like, almost going to be like a hash brown in texture. And that can be a great base for a sandwich. So I've got one here. Let me rinse my hands real quick. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So, let me show you what I got here. Let me find a non-reflect. This is super awkward. Mom just closed the blinds and it's still not helping. There we go. So that you can see that shape, it looks like a hash brown. And then we're just going to bake this off. So your oven you put at like, I mean, we're going to bake it for about 15 minutes. Your oven needs to be nice and high, so I'm going to put the oven at 450. Then I'm going to form the rest of my dough into these and bake them off. And then what the really delicious thing to do for step number, whatever step it will be, I'm not counting, would be to, once they're baked off, put cheese on top of them, make a sandwich, and then fry it in butter. Yeah. Or any of your oil of your choice. Ghee. Fry it off like a grilled cheese, dip it in some homemade ketchup or the raw marinara that I made in a video a few weeks ago. And you've got like a really awesome gluten-free, low carbohydrate, if that's your jam, grilled cheese sandwich. But doesn't that sound yummy, Mom? I mean, because cauliflower and cheese go hand in hand. They're a match made in heaven. That's like cauliflower au gratin and whatnot is all about the cheese and the cauliflower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these, make a couple of these, take a picture of the final product and post it in the comments as well with all the recipes here. I've got them typed out already, mostly in English, so that's going to be really easy for me to do for you guys. I'll take some pictures of maybe all of the sandwiches so you can remember, because really there's not full recipes for them. It's really just a lot of compilation of ingredients, and then you guys can try these sandwich ideas. Let's have one quick look. Heidi Larson says, do you ever use raw cheese? I wonder if it would work the same. I really don't like goat cheese. Do you mean like raw vegan cheese, Heidi? If you can clarify that real quick. Like I like to use raw manchego, like raw sheep's manchego is one of my favorite things in the world. But if you mean raw vegan cheeses, like a cashew cheese or something like that, I know that they have a lot of new brands available here, especially in North America, that are like gradable, coconut oil and cashew and other dairy-free bases that would work just fine, 100%. The egg is going to be really what's binding the cauliflower bread together. So I don't think if you felt like you wanted to substitute the cheese, that would be okay. But I would recommend double checking how the cheese melts because you're going to be baking it. Raw cheeses quite often when they're not cool, they tend to become quite oily and kind of disintegrate. So if your raw cheese does that upon being warm, I would not use it in this recipe because then you're just going to make a really soggy cauliflower bread. Does that make sense? Oh, Heidi Larson, making cheese from raw milk, like regular milk, like dairy or goat milk or whatnot, making cheese. Yeah, 100% substitute that. That would be totally fine. Then what else have I got here? It would make a great pizza shell. Yeah, that cauliflower bread is very similar to a lot of the gluten-free cauliflower pizza crusts you see out there. And this would work really great. I would just spread it maybe a little bit thinner so it would crisp up a little bit more. And form it into whatever shape. You could do a square or circle or mini pizzas. That would work really, really well as well. And and Leroy Mike says, thanks, Meg. And I say 3:37, almost perfectly on time with as all of our Facebook Lives go. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Let me stutter for a minute there because I'm so excited about everything. Let's see, what's next week? Next week I will be back in Costa Rica. And I have a very broad term for my topic. Next week I'm going to be talking about miracle meals, which just happens to be what we serve every day at Rythmia. But no, it's actually the name of my cookbook, and I'm planning on featuring a few of the most requested recipes from my cookbook, Miracle Meals, and talk a bit about that because I've been having a lot of people asking about it. So I'm going to be doing that next week. And then the week after that, because you guys better mark this all in your calendar, on the 28th of January, I'm going to be talking about, here Heidi, I'm going to be talking about plant-powered queso, adventures in dairy-free cheese. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and I'm going to have some samples and some recipes, and that is actually a perfect transition. So that's what we got going on here, guys. So thank you again for watching. It's always a super pleasure to be here with you all, and of course in miracles. That is, yes, it is. My food, these Facebook Lives, is just a course in miracles. Alright guys, I'm going to really sign off here. I hope that you've enjoyed. Thank you for coming into my mom and myself's home this sunny afternoon. Mom says sayonara, she's giving everyone a wave, and happy Sunday everybody. See you soon. Mwah.